For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Morning, everyone. Welcome to Talking Horses. Andy Serling on a gorgeous Wednesday, kicking off week number 4. Soon to be joined by my partner, Anthony I Am Fourth Stabile. We'll be talking about all the glorious events of the last couple of days, as well as all the glorious events to be coming in week number 4, which does include the Grade 1 $1 million Whitney Stakes to be run this Saturday, which we drew earlier. We'll talk about that and all the other good things. But before we bring on Mr. I Am Fourth, you go to NYRA Bets. Head over to NYRABets.com. Become a member of NYRA Bets. Use the promo code SPA200, and we will match up to $200 of your initial deposit at any track, anywhere, anytime. Keep the money in the game. Play through NYRA Bets. Also, we have the NYRA Bets contest, the Whitney Challenge, a special $3,000 buy-in cash and seat prizes for the NHC. You can play online. You can play through NYRA Bets, of course, online. You can also play on track. You'll have until Friday, I believe, to sign up. Go to NYRA.com/contest for more information. And finally, Saratoga Live, 1 to 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time on FS2. Without further ado, there he is, my mini golf partner, Anthony Stabile. And I got to say, Anthony, and you and Louis Lasnero, Kirk Wyckoff as well, but you guys deserve an enormous amount of credit. We had a great time with our first, hopefully, inaugural mini golf challenge at Goonie Golf, and raised $100,000 for very worthy charities.
A few bucks over $100,000, yes. BCCA, TRF, Old Friends Cabin Creek, and the Racetrack Chaplaincy. It was an honor and privilege to get my butt whipped. 91 to 76, the final score. Kirk Wyckoff of Three Diamonds Farm, the greatest ringer of all time. The guy shot 9 under at Goonie Golf in Lake George.
He got
9 under.
3 hole-in-ones in the first 5 holes. You deflated. I think you were down to about 280 after hole number 3. It really was a lot of fun, and we really did have a good time. And by the way, the people on Twitter that seem to think when I said I had a hole-in-one on 12, that was not at real golf. That was at mini golf. What person could possibly think I could ever get a hole-in-one on any actual golf course? But it was a great time.
There's your club.
Beautiful day. Yeah. Kirk brought his own club. I think they knew they were in trouble when he brought his own club. And we had a really great time. And you know, listen, some wonderful charities benefited from it. It wouldn't have happened without the heart, you know, just the incredible generosity from people in horse racing. And you think about all the people in the backstretch, the chaplaincy and the BCCA that benefit from it, and the horses as well at Old Friends Cabin Creek and the Thurber Retirement Foundation. And listen, we're not here to tell anybody, you know, where to donate and what to ever give their money. And certainly people have their own issues. But if you can, these are very worthy charities, as are any horse-related charity. And there's Kirk killing it out there. You got a hole-in-one.
I had 2 hole-in-ones.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. It was just a great day. That's a course that I remember playing when I was, 11 years old, 12 years old, coming up here in 88 and 89, a long time ago, and just had a lot of fun. My old knock hockey days there, almost got it in with the Goonie Bird, and it was great. You know, listen, when they pay you to come to the racetrack, you want to try and give back as best as you can. And if it means taking a Monday and getting beat pillar to post.
There were no losers in this
There was
golf
no
match.
losers.
It was
there
a really fun time.
It was me. I ran my mouth.
Well, you deserved it because
the knife to the gunfight.
Louis kept turning to me during the match. He kept going.
The
guy kept saying to me, you were bringing a knife to a gunfight.
Kirk Wyckoff brought a weapon of mass destruction.
You brought a loaf of bread to a gunfight.
I wish I was starving halfway through it too. At least if I had a little Nove White Pie or something, it would have been able to stop the bruised ego. But it was a great time. And congratulations.
Oh, thanks.
Good job.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Very good. Andy played very, very well. I think Andy dumped when we went scouting golf courses, but that's a story. That's a story for another day.
I actually have some mini golf skills. I just didn't feel like bragging. He was doing too much for everybody. It was a great time, and we thanked everybody that contributed to making it, and a lot of people, and they all did it anonymously, and it's really was a very special day. The Whitney will be a special day as well on Saturday. We drew that this morning, a field of 5. But it's the right horses,
yes.
You know. It really is. I mean, you take even the longest shot on the board by my standards, who actually ran very well in the Met Mile, an underrated performance, and has been a terrific horse throughout his career. But you've got Maxfield and Knicks Go, who are very arguably the 2 top older horses, along with Silver State, who's easy to say he's third in some ways. Some people would think he is after his win in the Met Mile and winning 6 straight races. You get the filly Swiss Skydiver. I think she's the first filly in mare to run since Mahogany Hall beat Serena's Song. And, of course, we saw a couple winners. 88, Personal Ensign. I was here for that. 86, Lay's Secret. I was here for that in the pouring rain. I think it was sloppy track for both of those, actually. Not going to be the case on Saturday, as it looks like it's going to be terrific weather, and it's going to be an amazing day of racing. A 12-race card kicks off at 12:35 on Saturday.
Like you said, by my standards, second in the Met Mile most recently. He was second in this event last year behind Improbable as well. So, yeah, be curious to see how this unfolds with Knicks Go coming in off that big win. With a big win in the Cornhusker, the Prairie Meadows Cornhusker, and yeah, looking forward to Saturday's card.
Yeah, we'll have more on that, of course, throughout the week. But right now, we got to get to work on today's card. Today's first race there over the steeplechase. 7-horse field lining up. We'll be talking about that a bit on Saratoga Live. Race number 2. We'll take a look at the first 3 ace of Cousin Andrew's last race on April 9th. It's not for the faint of heart because wait a second. No, that's not it. There we go. He's the number 2. To suggest that this was a nightmare would be to say that it's one of the worst race nightmares I've seen early. I mean, this is just...
This was Elm Street. If this was a nightmare, this was
Freddy
on Elm
Krueger,
Street. I can tell you that.
This
was something.
Yeah. And he's going to have to perform today because I believe that this will be the first time Cousin Andrew will be performing in front
of Cousin Andrew,
who will be in attendance later today. He will be making a special appearance on Saratoga Live, by the way, for those who are big fans of the real Cousin Andrew. Anyway, we didn't show that much of it. I wanted to show actually much more of it. But regardless of that...
It was more of the same.
It was worse, actually.
Yeah.
3 ace would be around the turn for future reference. It was a nightmare. He drops down on paper. He just can't lose this race on paper. You have a tip. You have a story on the 3.
There was a story on the source.
Mom.
There was a story on the source in the winter. There was a name change. The horse came and ran in a pretty good New York bred. Made a special weight race and now drops in for the 20.
Well, ran would be a stretch.
He kind of got banged around at the start, and that was the end of it. I'm hoping Jelon Samuel is a little aggressive with him. He gets Lasix for the first time to drop. I just want a goofy. Listen,
how big a story was it? He was 61-1. It was like the quietest story ever told.
The story was in, and a few people had a story in this. The story was in February. And I don't know what's happened along the way. I just want to take a goofy shot. Listen, Cousin Andrew's the horse to beat, but I'll take a little shot against him.
All right. Well,
we had 6 original top picks together. I figured I'd change one up. And if you're going to look, you might as well try and look like a hero trying to get a $50 horse.
Yeah, obviously I had short price in Cousin Andrew. Leading West, I mean, it's hard to ignore. You've got Mike Maker, who I don't think I've ever seen a juggernaut like the one that he's on right now. It's just very impressive on an extremely competitive meet. What does he have, 14 wins already?
Yeah, this horse's dirt races leave a little to be desired.
It's an understatement. I agree.
So, but yeah, dropping in
but
now
the way the
horse's
guy's barn is going.
Yeah, it's very hard to leave these horses out right now.
It really is. Tom Amoss with the outside horse, but on paper, Cousin Andrew is supposed to be extremely tough. I guess Mach 1 trying the dirt for the first time for Danny Gargan. Race number 3, we'll take a look at Take the Back Road.
Now we will.
On the dirt last time. Yep. Thank you. Good timing for that. bit of a Phyllis lookalike there, the left, by the way. Just letting you know, it's Anthony's mom.
Wow.
Right?
Good call.
That's a little lookalike. I thought it was her for a second. This race, obviously, on the dirt, finishing second last time to Let's Be Clear for Tom Amoss. But this horse has plenty of pedigree as a half to 2 turf winners out of 3 to try it. They were actually real runners. The dam herself was the second dam, I believe, is a very solid turf runner. So there's plenty of pedigree to go on. The problem that I have is the horse going to be better off dirt form. Yes. I'd rather this horse had bad dirt races, but on the other hand, it's not a bad horse.
Right, and at the very least, he does have some turf. She does have some turf pedigree. Half the sister Stroll, like you said, who's a stakes winner, stakes place of credit. So, yeah, there's some pedigree there. Like you said, though, this horse is going to take money based on the dirt form. Pedigree doesn't mean this horse has to run on turf. Right. But I did.
Pedigree is strong.
Yeah,
the pedigree is strong. I'm going to try next Tuesday. The 6 for Kelly Breen, who did some running first time out, besides Mainstay, who was the half to last year's 2-year-old champion. Vequist, thank you for that. And last time out, I don't know what went wrong. Didn't take any money and didn't really run. But the dam was a multiple winner in the turf. And even though she didn't produce a particularly good turf runner, there's enough pedigree, and this horse ran well enough first time, and it's a Cantheros. I thought maybe it might get a little bit lost. So I thought you'd get a better price on that one. So I went 6-3. I've got Sweet Surprise, whose dam did win on the turf. It's the first foal. So I took that one, not this time, for Tim Hills. I thought Joel Rosario on that horse might be a good sign. Just a bit of a guess. You've got the number 7, Leviosa, who really has no turf pedigree outside of the sire. For a barn, Xavi Joseph, that's been a little cold.
Been a little cold. So it was 4 to 5 first time out. Another daughter of Cantheros getting to the turf. The other horse I want to talk about a little bit was Lockstep, a daughter of Nyquist. The 2 dirt works pretty fast down at Keeneland. Came up here, went over to the Oklahoma turf, got a breeze over that. Rusty Arnold has had a good year. New York, California, Kentucky. I thought this horse maybe at a little bit of a price could
kind of a negative turf pedigree, though. There's really, on the dam side, there's nothing going back a couple of generations.
Yet he's running this horse on the turf first time. I thought it was curious.
Okay.
I thought it was a little curious.
All right, that's the 2 Lockstep. Take the back roads for my friend Tom Amoss is the favorite. You talk him, I'll try to beat him with next Tuesday, but she is the horse to beat. Race number 4, Easter Chocolate, for what it's worth. She ran on the weekend. It was claimed by Mike Maker, so she couldn't run. She was entered before that race. She obviously wasn't going to come back in a couple of days anyway.
That Sunday off the turf race, right? Yep.
Yeah, right. She was an off the turfer. So the whole thing, she can't really run. That's why she scratched. As far as Coffee Bar, we'll show her being second, the Busanda, the Grass is Blue, who would be about 2 to 5 in this race. Anthony, it just was too obvious, frankly. She our last race of prep, Trini Luck wired the field that day. I didn't want to fall on her. I wanted to find another horse, but going 1 1/8 based on this race, she's supposed to be very hard to beat for Todd Pletcher.
Based on this race, the mile win going, and she's kind of, you're hoping she follows a similar form pattern. She ran first time out going 6 furlongs, just looked like she needed some more real estate, got the mile next time out, improved the by figure 20 points. Same thing, 58 sprinting, runs out of real estate to a horse that gets loose on a lead. Now she stretches out, like you said. I mean, the Grass is Blue. She knocked around some of those 3-year-old filly stakes. She won the Busanda. She ran really well to her. I mean, she just looked.
It's very.
She almost
hard,
looked too simple.
It's very hard to find significant competition on paper, and we'll look at. I had a chance finish second to a horse you liked, pay grade last time that I didn't like at all for Christophe Clement. And listen, she can win, but I'll tell you something about this last race. You watch the last race, it's hard to get overly confident that she's going to improve at 1 1/8.
No question about it.
Because she kind of had this race won.
She had the race won. She's in the barn
and
here.
She didn't finish it up. That doesn't mean she's not capable of getting the 1 1/8, but it just feels like Coffee Bar is supposed to run a good enough race to beat her. But you have to admit, she is so clearly the logical other horse.
Oh, this is 4s and 2s. Yeah,
at least on paper.
There's a big break. I tried Electric Youth for third, stretching out. I don't know if she's a turf horse. I don't know if it was the distance that helped her in her last 2 starts. So, but yeah, as far as on the win end, I'd be stunned if the 4 to 2 didn't win this race. And I just couldn't get past Coffee Bar, just kind of following that form cycle like from her debut.
Now, we're going to disagree a little bit in race number 5, which is New York Stallion Series. What is this run for? Do we know?
I don't know. See if we can find it in the program.
Excuse us while we do a little research on the
Pardon
air.
moi. This would be the Statue of Liberty division.
You ever go to the Statue of Liberty?
No.
Really?
I had this conversation the other day. I've done more touristy stuff up here.
Touristy
meaning,
stuff in New York is fun. I, occasionally have friends come in, like the Circle Line that goes around the city is on a beautiful afternoon. You should come in the city one day on a nice day, and maybe in September we could do it, or in this summer, and go in the Circle Line. It's fun. I've actually never gone. I think I went as a kid to the Statue of Liberty. I couldn't climb up because I'm afraid of heights. Ellis Island, by the way, is an incredible place to go visit if you've never gone there.
That's my thing,
I'm sure
too.
some of you have gone to Ellis Island. It's awesome.
I'm not a heights guy.
Yeah, but the Circle Line, those things are the touristy things in New York are funny. You don't do them unless you have friends coming in if you're a New Yorker, but they're all fun. So you've got most of the horses in this race are coming out of the race that Sport Model won, the New York Stallion Series back at Belmont, and we'll take a look at that race. And I'm not going to knock Sports Model, but she's got to go the mile and an 8 mile around 2 turns. No, that's it. Okay, I'm sorry. We show the start because I wanted to show the 1. And the 1 was Show Me the Honey, the horse that I took in here. And you saw the horse broke badly. And I think we'll show you the head-on of that as well for the number 1, Show Me the Honey, because she really lost all chance when she ducks in extremely sharply in this race. And that's her first race coming off of a 7-month layoff. And I thought she's a horse that ran well enough in the prior year. She in her debut, she ran okay. She's a war dancer. We can pick it up in the stretch. She's supposed to stretch out effectively. And I thought she was a very, very interesting horse to take out of this race because I'm a little skeptical of Sport Model being as effective at a mile. And I thought Fun While It Lasted really ran well closing. And I thought she was kind of the horse to beat at the mile.
Okay. Listen, I could see the points for her. I think Sport Model last time was probably kept, and I know she came out of a faster race 2 back, but I think she's a filly that would rather settle a little bit more as opposed to being on top
hope,
of it.
because she's not supposed to be in front of Big Time Lady, and she's a dirty dancer here. Louis Sai is going to go.
I'm hoping she's going to sit.
She's probably going to go.
I'm hoping the 2 outside horses get around her, and she does work out.
So you wouldn't want her on the lead in this race?
I wouldn't want her on the lead.
I would want her on the lead if I liked her.
Okay.
She's not likely to be on the lead,
No,
but
she
I would
can't
want
get
her on the lead.
The 6 and both Big Time Lady and She's a Dirty Dancer are faster than her. And I'm hoping that I'm right and that she'd rather settle and make one run as opposed to being on top of the pace like she was last time, albeit a slower pace. I think she gets the right setup today and gets the setup that
Isn't
she's
she a
used
dubious
success.
favorite, though, stretching out the 2 turns? These are the kind of horses, you get obsessed by the 2 turns, the distance thing. Don't you think as the favorite, she's a little bit of a mediocre play as a favorite? I feel like you're going to see a different outcome and all. Like the 7 furlong races at the Wyden are sort of an animal unto themselves. And I think that Fun While It Lasted, horse of second. You don't have Show Me the Honey at all.
No, I'm not a fan.
Wow. Okay. We're at 82 lunches. Let me see. I'll bet you the 3 beats the 2.
I would want a price on that.
3-2.
I'll take 3-2 on that.
Okay.
I like
3
this
over 2.
filly's maiden win.
By Hubby
Hello Money. I like the
Money,
maiden win.
in case
I thought her race last
a
time.
relation to the offensive name of the sire.
Yes, correct.
We're not going to say that because we don't want to do that to kids watching at home.
Right.
Think of the kids, Anthony. It's all about the kids.
Oh, believe me.
Go ahead. Talk about the 2 who
I like
would
the
be a
maiden win.
stretch.
I thought her maiden win was really good. She didn't really get that fast of a pace to close into, and she made up a lot of ground, and she came back, and I think she's just getting better because she ran well in the slot. I'm sorry?
She beat Stella Mars, and that was a race that kind of fell apart. The Speed is the one who came back and did well, and Stella Mars, who closed, came back and did not do well.
I thought she ran well last time, first off the claim. I think she's getting back to her.
She was on the dirt last time.
I know. I think she's improving, and I think she's getting back to her preferred surface.
I think you're insane.
She's a little bit of a price.
I think you're insane. So there's a lot of thinking going
on
here.
Even.
I don't know where the thinking will lead us, but it'll lead you to a break, and we'll hear from our good friends at Saratoga Water.
Make business meetings exquisite. Make a weekend outing exquisite. Make a late night snack exquisite. Make a night on the town exquisite. For nearly 150 years, the Saratoga Spring Water Company has been producing the finest spring water available anywhere. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Did you miss us? We missed you. He's the big A, Anthony Stabile. I am not. Race number 6.
You weren't playing with your golf ball when we came back from break this time.
I will
we
cherish
walk off the course.
This golf ball.
We decided not to play the free game hole. And Andy was very quick about that before everything started. We're not going to play the free game hole. And he had the same thought I had. I was keeping my ball if I won.
Anthony threw his ball in the woods.
I don't even know where my ball is.
The peak of anger.
I don't know where it is.
So, to be honest with you, Anthony, I actually put it in my pocket because I've been doing that going from hole to hole. I was probably drinking the soda, and I didn't even remember it. I didn't even realize I put it in my pocket. And then as we left the course, I realized I still had it. I actually unintentionally did it.
I shot a 49.
49.
Oof.
Yeah. No, 47. 47.
47.
Yeah,
Louis shot 44.
I was 42. Louis was 44. You were 47. Kirk was 34.
Kirk shot 12. Kirk shot 12 on
Kirk
an 18-hole
had some zeros, right?
Sure.
Right. There were some that the ball just leapt in there without even hitting it, I think.
Yeah, we gave him from the tee box. We just gave it to him.
Big scratch in race number 6.
Yes.
Of course, I had second. Of course, Anthony had the top, and that was the number 3, Empress of War, getting the trainer change. We'll take a look at Anthony's top choices. Look, I had both videos of your top choices in there, and we'll take a look at Shamalama Ding Dong. I actually took the horse who was 4th out of this race, who's very wide. I would have included if I knew this. But Shamalama Ding Dong thought ran fine in this race, and that's not. It's fair to say that horse is kind of the horse to beat. I don't know. I'm not thrilled. I'm taking some shots against this horse.
I would think this horse is the horse to beat. Unless Towering Orbit can find some speed, this horse is probably
talk
gone
about
today,
it.
right?
Well, no. The speed is Vivizano. Vivizano.
I wouldn't be counting on that after those last 2 races off the break, Andy.
Okay, I'll bet you Vivizano's in front of the 4 here at the quarter.
We could bet
For
one on
lunch on
that.
Sure. 2 in front.
When they put up the quarter, the quarter time up. Okay, you got it.
That's very disrespectful to you, to Steve, Chris, and Ken Durrett, your friends who own the 2 Vivizano.
I listen. You know I'm a loyalist, but I mean, this horse is not really.
It's a disappointing moment, number 1 on Talking Horses.
I want to bet this horse back on the time. I wonder when this horse is getting back.
I think Vivizano will be in front in here.
Okay.
And I actually think she's dangerous.
Okay.
She didn't handle the slop. Things went badly last time. I think she's going to run better. She is a horse that started her career running pretty well, and I think that she may show up today.
I thought her best race was the turf race going long.
Okay, we'll disagree. I thought her first race was exceptional. I thought she ran very, very well that day. Though her turf race was fine. I think yes, I needed her for second. That was one of the many ridiculous head bobs I got beaten for a lot of money last year. The winner was a Chad Brown horse. I guess Shamalama Ding Dong can win. I'm not thrilled with her. I feel like last time was supposed to be the time for her. She was on top of a pretty moderate pace. The race was won up front. As far as Towering Orbit, you know, I thought that day at Inside Speed was pretty good. Not a particularly strong bias, but a little bit. And she kind of dropped out after the start and was wide around the whole way, 3, 4, 5 wide around the track. I feel like she's a horse for Charlie Baker that's going to run better second time out. I'm going to try to beat the 4 with the 1 and 2 in this race. I think they're both interesting horses going forward. Did you have any feelings on Fancy Feline, who you have second?
I probably should have went 4-1 here.
Again, I think the 1 is the kind of horse that's going to run better for Charlie.
I probably should have went 4-1 here. I don't know what to do with Fancy Feline. A horse that was intended for turf first time, it rained off, ran okay in the mud, then ran on the turf, didn't run 2 steps, and now comes back less than 3 weeks, back onto the main track. They're going to get a fast track for the first time.
She's not that good. I just don't know where, I mean, she can improve, but it's just she's such a turf-meant horse with the Kitten's Joy Dam.
She didn't run 2 steps on the turf, and now Jimmy Bond puts her right back on the main track.
Well, because she ran a lot better in the dirt. Yeah. I mean, if she's going to win a race, she's going to be on the dirt, not on the turf. Based on her last race. I mean, she seems to not be able to handle the turf at all based on her last race, so you have to run her in a spot where at least she did a little bit of running first time out, and she could improve off of that. Race number 7, kicking off the late pick 4. We'll start the conversation with Montauk Daddy. You don't have Montauk Daddy in your top 4.
I don't like Montauk Daddy for a quarter today.
Okay. What are you talking about? This is the horse to beat. This is insane. This is the controlling speed on a horse that does have trouble sealing the deal. How is it possible that you could leave this horse off the top 4? I mean, I know that you're keeping a strong record of missing the winner in your top 4 like nobody ever has at any race meet, but how could you leave this horse on your top 4?
I don't like this horse today.
Based on what?
I think Our Destiny's going to press. I think Big Wonder can go. Wild William can go. Thing can go. I think a lot of horses can go in here. I don't think this horse is going to get loose today. I absolutely not. You know, this horse, I know he's drawn inside, but
Thing.
Gets a route. Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot.
Couldn't possibly be close
I
to this
think there's
horse.
going to be a lot of pressers in this race today. And I think part of the reason Router T Jr. is on this horse is maybe to get him off the pace today.
Oh, from the rail? That'll be a good move.
I'm just letting you know.
I'll tell you what,
opinion.
if you think they're rating the lone speed from the rail, you're right to leave him off the 4. You also probably should get a brain scan. You don't think this horse is the horse to beat here?
That's my opinion.
You don't think this is the horse to beat?
I don't
what
like
this
horse.
Morning line, 8 to 5?
8 to 5. I don't like this horse today.
Okay.
I don't like this horse today. That's it.
Is there something in the water?
No.
Was there some of that delicious food we had at Nove is getting your brain or something?
How about the?
We had lunch there. That was
the eggplant.
That was
strong.
The whole
right? My
thing
chicken
was
and
great.
eggplant. I mean, when you go there, get the chicken and eggplant. Ask for it's the Beal style.
The problem with Montauk Daddy is that he doesn't seal the deal. The good news is he is way the horse to beat in this race. Only Anthony wouldn't think he is.
just
But
don't
hey,
like him.
he doesn't hit the board in this race. I tip my cap to you. If he hits the board, I'm going to mock you massively
If
tomorrow.
he runs 4th, you're going to mock me.
You have a horse on front, Determined Fury, and I knew that Anthony can't resist Christophe Clement with horses.
We had 6 on top, and I flip-flopped. I had picked Tom Amos'
Okay,
horse.
that's fine. Okay, but let me just – okay, so he's kind of the horse you like second, and you just took him. That's fine. I picked him in this day. You didn't have him in the top 4.
Correct.
This was a horrifically bad maiden field.
Awful field.
Horrible field. So why is he going to get into this race and be competitive?
Well, I mean, he obviously outran –
Beat a terrible field.
My opinion of him.
But he beat a terrible field. You admit it. And now you're taking him in a tougher field.
I think he's going to get a good – I think there's more speed in here than you
always
do.
think they're going to get a good setup. No, there is some speed in here, but the
Yeah.
one is the clear speed of the speeds. I don't disagree that there's some speed in here. I have no argument with that. Wyatt William has speed, Our Destiny, and I think Wyatt William does have to go. I just think Montauk Daddy's faster, and from the rail he has no choice. He can't rate. He's never effectively run well trying to rate. Okay. I just don't think this horse is – I've got him 3rd, to be honest, so I shouldn't be too crazy because I have a lot of horses I like in here. I would have taken Wyatt William, but he's never won without the lead, and I don't see how he gets it. All right, I do have him 3rd. As far as convection, Dam was a 2-time winner of 6 starts in the turf, produced a horse that won in the turf with an 80 buyer, really improved in the turf. And Tom Amos scratched this horse in a similar type race here the other day, where I think that he would have been a relatively short price in the dirt. And I said to Tom, why'd you scratch him? And he said, I really want to run this horse in the turf. So,
Right.
and I picked him that day.
It was kind of confusing because it was a sloppy track race. Horse had 2 pretty impressive wins on sloppy tracks. He tried to put those on the turf the first time off the claim.
Well, Muddy had good and sloppy.
Yeah. Then scratched the horse from a wet track race. Yeah, I thought he made a lot of sense too.
Yeah. All right. We do disagree though in the run. I don't see any. Would you have anybody else in here?
I had my man Wayne Potts with Our Destiny in case he's the first one to inherit Montauk Daddy.
In case
Montauk
3
Daddy
horses
go?
fall apart sometime out of the gate.
And Thing. I like Thing a little bit. Thing improved a little bit last time, half to multiple stakes winner
Is
Morticia.
Thing a nice name?
It's so the Mayor Halloween party, they've named all the horses Morticia, so it's some Adams Family stuff.
Yeah,
Macabre,
I like that. I like that.
yeah,
That's cool.
They
Okay.
go that way.
Thank
with
you
it.
for that. You're really on top of that stuff today.
She was a nice, covering on HRN. We covered her a lot in the Midwest.
The
Keeneland and
8th
Churchill.
is named for Shine Again,
DuPont
who
Philly.
ran for the late, great
The Chief.
Alan Jerkins.
Somebody came over at breakfast today and said, I can't remember. Who did they refer to as the Chief? I said, the guy who trained the filly that the stakes race is named for today.
They didn't know who the
They
chief
forgot.
referred to?
It's okay.
No, that's okay. The man is one of the greatest legends to ever grace turfdom. To have known Alan Jerkins at all is to have had your life be better.
I would think of all of the greats, when you just talk about the career and the person,
Yeah.
he's the top.
I agree.
And he was like a grandfather to me, so that's a little biased thing to say. But
At the racetrack,
I mean, he was just amazing.
It's hard to find people that were universally loved and adored. And that man, and let me tell you, he could put down a rant that would make any of us proud. He was the greatest, just the greatest.
Make sailors lush.
Right.
He was the greatest.
That man was tougher on jockeys than I am.
I brought him into.
He makes me look like a rake amateur.
We have time for a quick.
Sure.
I brought him in. I sat with
greatest.
George Steinbrenner one day. And George wanted to meet him. I brought George Steinbrenner in to the barn after he got a filly got beat in the Astoria. First time starter got beat like 2.5 lengths. He threw a feed tub from about 7 stalls in
because he
to
traded
his
Jay Buhner?
office ward. because of the ride he got, it missed my head by about 9 inches, the feed tub. And you just saw sweet feed and corn and molasses. I mean, it was just everywhere. And George Steinbrenner standing behind me, he's like, this is what I wanted to see.
Hire as a manager.
This is what I wanted to see, exactly. This is what I wanted to see, a classic Chief outburst. Yeah, he was the greatest.
The
he
Chief,
was the absolute
when
greatest.
I first started working at NYRA, I think I'd been here a couple of years. I hadn't seen him in a while. I ran into him. And he said, oh, Andy, what are you doing? What are you doing these days? I said, I'm working here. I'm on the TV show. And he said, yeah, I got to start watching more TV.
Whenever I smell cottage cheese, I think about, because we used to go to the cafeterias at Aqueduct and Belmont, and he would have the peaches and cottage cheese.
You could talk about him for a month. I mean, one of the greatest thrills of my life was when he appeared on At the Post Live down at the Parting Glass. And he was up there talking. Dale Romans had brought him over. And I'm telling you, the line, you can hear a pin drop.
Pin drop.
That place was absolutely silent
And could
while
tell
the
a
Chief
story.
was talking.
Could tell a story.
And new
Yeah,
old
Chief was the
movies
best.
like Nobody.
Yeah,
Number
old
2,
movies, big
Aunt
time.
Cat will show her last
You
win.
jumped off your girl. Oh, my God.
I handicap. I don't go by,
You
know.
handicap.
This is a horse that, as Anthony knows, I kept wondering why they were running long in her first couple of starts. And I think one of the reasons her figure dropped a little bit in this softer field last time off the turf was she was trying to get a mile. I think she's a more effective horse going shorter, and she goes 7 today. Her dam was a very good horse that Kieran McLaughlin trained, Carolyn's Cat. She's been terrific. She's the speed. She's the horse to beat. Competition is getting significantly better for her today, Anthony, and I'm going to try to beat her. I don't have a knock on her. I think, though, she's stepping up. And as the favorite in here, stepping up, probably favored over Baroness, I want to try to beat her.
Okay. I mean, she has a tactical edge. She has a figure edge. She's cutting back to the distance she's probably going to excel at because, to your point, it's easier to win these speed horses, easier to win going 7 than 6 or 6.5. And the filly who you obviously think is her biggest danger, and I think she's her biggest danger.
I think her biggest danger is Baroness, actually.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Oh, I think her biggest danger is Casual.
Okay,
Getting
I don't agree,
getting an
but
extra
we'll
eighth
get
of a
to that.
mile and running her down. I don't think Baroness is the.
We'll take a look
is
at
the
Baroness'
danger.
last race. I don't know. I mean, I know she lost at 2-5. Bronx Beauty finished a distant third in here, but this is a filly that runs Byers on or around 90. She also hasn't been in a dry track race yet this year. Now, maybe she likes a wet track, but maybe she's a horse that gets back to a dry track. I mean, this is a horse that ran some route races. She's not really a router. She's more of a sprinter. I think she's very dangerous for Cherie DeVaux. Relatively strong stakes-based horse, beat Lady Rocket, who's improved. I thought she ran fine in the Better Roses 2 races back. You saw how well Lake Avenue ran in our Honorable Miss the other day.
I was happy to see that morning line because I was coming over here thinking I was going to chalk out with a cold 2-4 in here, maybe a tiny reverse. And if Baroness is going to be the second choice, I feel like
she's stake-faced in a way that the 4 Casual, I guess, is a bit, but she's running better races. But Casual doesn't have the figures. I mean, I'm hoping on the come a little bit with Casual, and we'll take a look at Casual's last race in the Ski Pat, I think, right?
Correct.
At Pimlico. But I mean, Chubwagon, who won this race, is 8 for 8. And I'm going to tell you something. If Chubwagon doesn't show up in the Ballerina to take on Gamine, I'm going to be annoyed. That filly needs to run in a Grade 1. You're 8 for 8. Stop fooling around in those other races. And,
I don't we agree on
take
this.
Take your shot
we
against
don't agree
the
on
big
a lot.
girls.
We agree on this.
That Chubwagon is some racehorse, and I know she's been coming from way back. I think she's going to run very well for Steve Asmussen, and maybe could be in position. By the way, I don't think today he's 3 behind Dale Baird.
I believe he's 3 behind.
Steve, of course, running Silver State and the Whitney. I've always been a fan of Casual. She's had some, excuses. You look at the Edgeway race and the Carousel, no pace. Now, listen, maybe there won't be that much pace today, and that could work against her. But I think she's okay. Second to Kamari, who I guess is coming for the Ballerina, though with Leslie Ward, you never really know what he's going to do. He runs her so rarely. I've always had a thing for this horse, and I'm hoping she can step forward. She's kind of on the come, though. She's never run as fast as the favorites in here. And Aunt Cat is the horse to beat. I mean, she's just faster on speed figures.
Right. She's faster on speed figures. She has a tactical advantage, and yeah, I mean...
she's going to have to overcome a bit of a disadvantage tactically. I don't disagree, but I'm going to try to beat her. I've always kind of wanted Casual in a she's been in some tough spots.
Yes.
And Chubwagon is, if you're not aware of Chubwagon, she's a horse I embarrassed myself with. I think at Aqueduct, I left her out or had like third or fourth in a small field.
We both did.
And she just annihilated
4
the
to
field.
5 and just crushed. Broke a step slow,
I
rushed,
read
and just galloped.
Yeah, she's the goods. I mean,
She's
obviously
the goods.
hasn't beaten the highest level horse in that
But
division.
she's beaten everything they put in front of us.
Yeah.
They put in front of us so far.
Don't baby her the Breeders' Cup, Filly Mare. Run her. I hope she's coming for the Ballerina. She's a pretty cool horse. Race number 9. I thought race number 9 was the single toughest race today, tomorrow, and Friday. And by the way, Friday's card is sensational with 3 stakes in the card. The Alliar came up strong, a huge field for the Troy, as well as the Hall of Fame. And Friday will be the Hall of Fame. It's sort of 2-1 for the Hall of Fame. Todd Pletcher and Mark Casse getting in, and can't think of a more deserving guy than Todd Pletcher. American Pharoah getting in as well. Another good. Oh, Wise Dan is getting in from last year, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was Cassie and Wise Dan.
2 very popular horses,
yes.
American Pharoah and Wise Dan. I thought this race was extraordinarily difficult. Honestly, you look through the 1, the 3, the 7, the 8. They are all absolute contenders in this race. And then you've got sort of 2 fuzzies, an Imperator and Burning Bright, who we'll get to. We'll start with NYC, the horse I have on top. We'll take a look at the Knickerbocker, where he didn't get today's distance of 1 1/8 miles, but Devimani and Olympico are pretty good. I thought his race behind King Cause and Spirit Animal, he actually ran very well in there. Todd's got decent enough numbers off the layoff. I ended up taking him with absolutely no confidence. But I thought this effort was good enough actually to win here, even though he finished 3rd.
Yeah, he's been gone a while now. He's got to go to 9 off the long layoff, and he can win. I put him 2nd. You have him on top. I mean, this horse can obviously win, but he's going to be a short price. And he's winless in the 2 starts on the turf. He's got to get a turf win. And going the 9 off the break, I wanted to take a swing against him.
I think he's as good, if not better, than anybody in the race. And I didn't realize he'd be the 9-5 favorite in here.
Yeah, I looked at that. I took a look.
Really, he's going to be favored off of the layoff?
Well,
maybe. Listen, David's
he's
the
off the layoff. The horse I put on top's off the layoff.
Let's talk about a horse that's not off a layoff, and that's Bodie Cream. We'll show him.
They knew from.
He was the they knew of all time winning off the turf. He's never stood up on the dirt. And got a little blind switched in this race. Mm-hmm. Got himself in a little bit of a jackpot here.
Right
as you see the winner, Sanctuary City, coming over. And he gets caught behind.
There was an inquiry here, right? They took a look at this?
I don't know. I was in a car on the way back to Manhattan.
They took a look at this.
I watched this race on Broome Street. Seriously.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and Sanctuary City was in good form, got a slightly better trip. It's sort of a classic blind switch. He is a horse that has a lot of seconds, but he's in good form for a very trainer whose horses are all running.
Yeah, they're all running.
Is 1 1/8 miles a stretch for him? He's never gone that far before.
Right, that could be the issue for him. It kind of looks like in his 1/16 races he's leveling off a little bit, losing some ground. So we'll see how the 1 1/8 goes. But like you said, when you see these barns going as well as they are, we're kind of splitting hairs.
That's why I thought he'd be shorter in here. Because the barn is going so well.
Ultimately, he might be. Right,
Ever
Dave?
Dangerous won the Bryn Station at 74-1 back on Breeders' Cup weekend at Keeneland. And he was in great form then. He has been a little disappointing. He didn't run great down at Gulfstream, but he ran okay. This is the Bryn Station. George Weaver, horses are not as strong as they've been in some prior years.
A little quiet, right? More often than not, they come up here ready to fire, and it's been a slow start for George. In all likelihood, that'll change.
We'll see. His last race at Churchill, I've been disappointed with his efforts as a 4-year-old. I don't feel like he took that step forward as a 4-year-old.
The last race, I think, is the big problem, right? The Flying Scotsman got loose on him first off the layoff. Same thing kind of happened in the Grace Fable race. And then last time, a dawdling pace. He worked out a pretty good trip, and he just didn't fire. Another one, he's won going the 9 furlongs, but I kind of wonder now. That Bryn Station was kind of like a survival of the fittest.
But he did run reasonably well in there.
He did.
Now, he's the potential speed, but don't you think that Burning Bright is going to be in front in here? Don't you think Manny's just supposed to send him? And what do you do with Burning Bright? It was a Forever Together, who far and away the worst race that he ever ran was his turf race.
Yeah, and but
his dam was a multiple champion.
I don't have a story, but I will say this. with that pedigree.
He's a weird fuzzy.
That
in here.
horse went off almost 10-1.
I know.
Behind North Dakota, who at the time, North Dakota was not much.
Doesn't matter who he's behind. He was a first-time starter at Tampa from a champion mare and took no money on the turf, and actually has been a shorter price every single start on dirt and synthetic since then, including a they knew last time out in the turf. He's a fuzzy in here that I'm not saying I want to bet on, but I won't be shocked when he surprises us, much like your horse, L'Imperator.
Yeah, L'Imperator was rumored to be okay. Came into the States last year and ran on that boggy day.
But don't we think one of the reasons that he was bet as heavily as he was the fact that he was showing wins on soft, heavy, and soft courses over in Europe?
Could be.
And I think that's one of the reasons he got bet as strongly as he did.
It could be.
Besides, and also the Chad Brown factor.
It could be. In all likelihood, that course that day was as European as it's going to get. That was that.
Well, in European, it was soft. I mean, the Europeans
day.
are just different kind of courses. I think it's tough to compare the two.
Now he comes back almost a year, fresh gelding. He gets a Ride Ortiz Jr. It's going to be a little bit of a price in here because I think they have to gravitate towards NYC with the gaudy speed figures.
But do we have any confidence that he can run? Because his races in Europe, Anthony, aren't that good.
No,
they're
against cheaper horses. You're betting this horse on the come a little bit, but again,
I just have no confidence that he's any good. And this is not a bad field.
But at the very least, you'll find out at 5-1 because the money has to go. NYC has to take money. Ever Dangerous has to take money.
They don't have to take money. You never know. Horses are bigger prices than you expect them to be. And listen, Argonne, we go back to this race
He's
two
not
back.
How's he? Why is he hopeless?
Hopeless. He runs the race we're looking at here. He's going to win. Say the word who beat him. He was $1 million to 1 this day. He ended up being a very, very competent, solid stakes performer.
You look at his last 5 races, right? Channel Cat Stakes winner.
He moved too soon in this race.
Right.
He ran super.
Luke Coolin Stakes winner, Breaking the Rules Stakes winner, Say the Word Stakes winner, Pixelate Stakes. He's running against Eons. Came back and won the stakes race at Colonial the other day.
His last race was bad.
Last race was awful.
It was awful. It was bad because he had a pretty good trip.
Yeah.
The race collapsed, and he really never did any running. Now, it was also his first start in 10 months. And he's a horse that ran well in that race at Saratoga, and he improved off of his return the time before.
I didn't throw one horse out of this race.
I don't believe that there's a single horse in this race that cannot win.
Great race.
Well, I think the 9 is a little bit of a stretch.
Oh, I forgot to turn the page. Yeah, I tossed the 9 too.
Yeah, the 9 is a little tough to make.
I had it.
But everybody else.
Those are 6 of the 7.
There's not a single. I won't be surprised if I was finished with Friday's picks. And I hadn't made picks for this race yet.
It's a fun race.
This was a race that kept me from putting my picks up on Saturday.
With 2 stakes on the card, the Statue of Liberty and the Shine Again, this is almost like a third stakes.
Well, this is probably
you'll
see a horse in this race probably in the Bernard. Well, is the Baruch late in the meet?
Yep. Baruch's late in the meet. Yep.
Okay. Best Bernard Baruch I can remember was Lure's last win when he beat Paradise Creek and 4-Star Dave. That was a great
Selfishly,
race.
my favorite was Hap. I was a big fan of Hap, the old mott horse with the big blonde mane. I think he paid $9 when he won the Baruch.
Lace number 10, Anthony likes B Up. So do I.
Yeah.
Talk about B Up.
B Up breaks the maiden first time out, tries a little bit of little stakes down at Delaware last time.
On a soft turf.
Yeah, on soft ground.
I'm not buying soft 144.
Caldi, Mia Martina are okay. Dropping in now from a stakes race to a starter race. I mean, we've seen him
dangerous trainer.
Draws inside. I've seen enough.
This horse will not be the 8-1 morning line, David. You made this horse
way too big. This horse is 8-1?
You made this horse way too big.
I thought this horse would be favored in here.
Well,
maybe Ocean Air shorter.
I don't think she'll be favored. Now, the horse that we'll talk about Ocean Air and Ho Ho Ho. Well, you have to say something as we show Ocean Air and Ho Ho Ho. Ocean Air is
sort of one more ho.
Ho 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 Ho.
Ho 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 Ho.
Ocean Air is opportunistic, but she doesn't win. And she can certainly win here, but she's had her chances. Ho Ho Ho, who I thought didn't run very well when she was unjustly DQ'd 2 back, and I thought that was a horrendous DQ.
Ran well last time.
And you liked her, and I didn't like her at all.
Yeah.
And I thought you got robbed. I thought she ran super last time.
Great job.
I mean, that was a fast pace that fell apart. She got hounded by that horse that I liked that ran nowhere in there. She ran terrific in there. And I know she draws an outside post, but there's a huge scratch with Mapolka coming out.
Gigantic scratch for her.
She can clear from the outside, and I don't have her in there. I would have had her in there if I had handicapped, and I didn't get a scratch till very late because I was working very hard at the Whitney draw.
Gigantic scratch from Opolka.
It's a big scratch for her.
Opolka,
And it moves her way up. And I probably would have put her third, to be honest with you. And I do like the 2B up. I think she's very logical, and she'll never be 8-1 in here.
Neither one of us have her on the board.
Not a chance.
I'm certainly in my pick 5. I'm using
the horse that I don't like. You have third, and that's Kitten by the Sea.
Okay.
I know the other speed finished last time, but she just ran so badly. I got to tell you, she was supposed to win this horse last time out. I'm not saying she can't win, but I don't want any part of her. This race was and this is just a deeper
It's a bad taste. It's a bad taste in your mouth.
You're supposed to win. You're Todd. It's the beat starting, and that's just she can win. I don't want any part of her. She's not on my tickets.
They beat the. I figured I'd use it because they beat the rest of them by so much. They beat them the rest of the field by 4 lengths.
They didn't run.
Yeah, I guess.
I get it. She's got back figs that can win. She's not my cup of tea. I got a horse first of all, I think Come Stormin' is going to run well in here. She's not a 1.25 mile horse. She cuts back. She's got races. I thought that Joelle could work at you always say this, getting the rail. I think she's going to work out a good trip in here. I think she's going to run okay. I'm going to use her. What about evidence-based? Is this one that Chad Brown, I know claiming from Chad Brown is a disaster, and I know she didn't run on the turf last time. Wayne Potts has disastrous numbers off the claim with turf routers. Forget about her last race. She's not a dirt horse. This could be one that Chad gave up on too quickly. Because her win, she didn't have much chance first race. She absolutely, I know it was Little Nutter. She just throttled those horses second time out.
But that's the problem, right? That field was so bad.
But she throttled them.
She buried them. She did. She buried them.
They very rarely, Chad Brown very regrets drop downs. They don't do well claiming from him. But this one feels like if he's going to regret one, this one's a possibility.
Maybe.
Let me put it this way. Would you have picked her? And I know it's a separate situation, but if she was still in Chad's barn, you probably would have picked her in this race.
No, I'm going to tell you why. I really don't like that field she comes out of.
She annihilated them.
Well, I know she did, but I just don't like that field.
Okay.
I just don't like that field.
Okay. I will tell you that this man deserves an enormous amount of credit, by the way, for all the money that was raised at the golf chouting. Much more so than I do. So thanks to you, Anthony.
Much. Very nice of you to say. But
all
it was
right.
a team effort as always. Louis and the Nove family did the heavy lifting.
Louis Lazzanero, to know Louis is to love him. He is a wonderful man, no doubt about it. And it was a lot of fun. And
we'll do it again next year.
We'll definitely do it again next year. Who knows? Maybe we could have you and I could play another. Maybe we should go to Pirates Cove before we leave here.
There's a couple of different.
Try
we
Pirates Cove in
Scout
a couple
out
of
a couple
weeks.
of places. Maybe
Head
we'll
up
do
there.
that. I would love to do that.
Maybe we'll
Spend
move to another location.
Because as much as we hate each other, we can stand each other for a couple hours.
I hate
on
Anthony.
Off days.
I can't speak for Anthony, who may like me, but I hate him.
One more person.
Anyhow, head over to Naira Bets. If you're not a member of Naira Bets, head on over. Match them at $200 of your initial deposit. Use the promo code SPA200. Go to NairaBets.com. Support racing in New York. Keep the money in the game. Beautiful day today, by the way. The crowd, place is filling up. Nice to see everybody here. Also, the contest, the Whitney Challenge. Whitney this Saturday, we drew a 5-horse field. A great field, though. You could have 3 other horses with absolutely no chance, and it wouldn't make it a better race. That Saturday, $3,000 buy-in. You could play through Naira Bets or on track.
On track, yes. On
great
track
day
and
of racing, 12 race card. 12:35 first post. That means Talking Horses will begin just after 11.
11:05.
Well, yeah, we at least, because we got a 12 race card. But head on over to Naira.com/contest or challenge or whatever. Sarah Live, 1 to 6:30. I'll be on with Greg Wolf, Acacia Courtney, the first half of the card, second half of the card. Hold on. All right, Anthony, it was a pleasure. This golf ball will be on the set of Talking Horses forever and ever and ever. We hope you all have an absolutely wonderful day here at Saratoga. Great to be kicking off week number 4. The one and only, the voice of New York racing, John Imbrial, coming up next with a reprise of the scratches and changes.